Hello, world. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful, frigid Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is Wednesday, January 21st, the epicenter of yet another very, very busy broadcast week. And storms are brewing in every way imaginable. The weather, I don't know if you guys saw the reports, big storm is coming, slated to hit somewhere around Saturday and headed straight towards the south. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And of course, we have economic storms, political storms, cultural storms. I mean, you name it. The theme of 2026 is absolute chaos. And of course, that's what we're going to address here today on the Shannon Joy Show. It's great to see all of you. We're live on Rumble, live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, every podcast platform you can imagine. If you're watching on YouTube or Substack or Facebook or right here on Rumble, please do us a favor and give the show a thumbs up. Make a comment in the comment box. If you're listening at your leisure via audio on all of the podcast platforms, it is so helpful for the Shannon Joy Show for you guys to leave a 5-star review and also a comment. This is how we generate the algorithm and grow organically this independent show. Not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser, every day. And it's a lot. It's a lot, but we could not do it without all of you. You see the headline of today's show: Trump drops bombs at the WEF. Yes, rhetorical bombs. Again, adding to the chaos. I haven't had a chance to go through Trump's speech this morning and then the subsequent Q&A, but I imagine that it builds upon what Howard Lutnick said yesterday at the WEN. Essentially, the U.S. is going rogue. We don't care about the globe. We don't care about you. We are battening down the hatches, hunkering down in this hemisphere. We're taking everything. Might makes right, and there's nothing you can do about it. Some people are hailing this as bold, America first. In fact, Steve Bannon is already out applauding the president, saying that this is the greatest thing since Pericles of Athens, right? If you're a nationalist, if you're an America first nationalist, this is bold, this is strong. This is Donald Trump going out and taking what's ours. And we're seeing a lot of that rhetoric in conservative media on BizarroCon and being normalized to traditionally conservative constitutional audiences who really aren't a fan of wars everywhere with everyone. He is threatening to purchase Greenland with printed dollars, I suppose. We have no money here in the United States of America, but who cares? He's going to give every citizen of Greenland apparently $100,000 and a deal they can't refuse. It's just insane. It's just insane. Bloodbath in the markets yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. Chaos for American families, chaos in Minnesota, chaos in Davos and Venezuela. MAGA will say that this is three-dimensional chess. For me, and I think a lot of you, it just feels like complete chaos. And I often wonder if Donald Trump wasn't hired by his globalist handlers to drive this nation right off of a cliff, because none of this makes sense. And it is impacting now the American markets, which we'll talk about in a moment. Yesterday, by the way, it was a bloodbath for the United States in every way conceivable as the world reacts, whether you like it or not, to the actions and the rhetoric and the chaos of this president. We're going to get into that. As you can see, today it is Wednesday, so we are going to be welcoming Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, right around 1 p.m. for a crossover segment. And I am absolutely thrilled to welcome for the very first time in the Joy Virtual Studio, Tom Renz. He is an attorney, a medical freedom activist, and also an advocate in general for freedom. We're going to talk about the state of medical freedom in the United States of America and also the SAVE Act. Is it a Trojan horse for mandatory digital ID? This is what Tom Renz had to say about that last night. They are fast tracking this, pushing this through amidst absolute chaos. I mean, there's chaos everywhere, right? The cloud of war, you might call it. And right now, what they're doing in Congress is trying to push through the SAVE Act. And this is what Tom Renz had to say about that. I fully support the SAVE Act. It's vital legislation. But as it stands, combined with the Real ID Act, it paves the way for universal digital ID. Here's the reality, says Tom Renz. Real ID expansion plus the SAVE Act equals mandatory digital IDs to vote. This further enables track and trace for everyone. It is once again the creation and the acceleration of the digital control grid, which is why I linked in the show notes of today's show you to Solari report. This is a report put out by the team at Solari. It is an ongoing list. So it's a dynamic list that they add to periodically entitled the Fast Approaching Digital Control Grid. And every way the Trump administration and his associates, the technocrats here in the US, along with members of Congress, are in fast tracking and accelerating the creation of a massive dystopian digital control grid. In this report, they go after, and it's linked to the show notes on the Shannon Joy Show, the actions related to money and digital currency, the Genius Act as part of that, a war on cash and physical payments by this administration via legislation, executive order, and emergency declarations, a lack of financial transparency and disclosure that they put in place, digital IDs, biometrics, and surveillance, primarily the promotion of Real ID, DHS rules that they have put in place, and also voter ID pushed via the SAVE Act and disaster aid requirements framed as using election integrity as a cover for broader ID mandates. This is also part of their attempt to begin to require digital ID as a mechanism to enforce immigration laws. So they're using all of the red meat conservative talking points. We want secure elections and we want to close our borders and deport the immigrants. They're using all of that rhetoric against the principles of their American conservative constituents. It is a Trojan horse, and we're going to be talking with Tom Renz about that just a little bit later in the program. Also, AI, data, and payment infrastructure, Stargate, the LLC's, AI data centers, which are linked to mRNA tech and the Internet of Bodies. What they did during Doge. I mean, this report is exhaustive. And it is literally, I want to say it's probably, the last time I printed it out, I think it was more than a dozen pages long, single spaced. And that is everything that has just happened in the past 12 months since Trump has been inaugurated. The Internet of Bodies and health controls, they detail. And also telecommunications and resource controls, the creation, the fast tracking of these massive data centers. They go over in this report. This is a must read. It is a must print out. And you need to send this report to every conservative talker, media outlet, anyone that you talk to. I don't know what they're talking about other than fluffing Donald Trump and covering up for him. But it details his executive order unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential, executive orders on energy, executive orders declaring a national energy emergency, which gives the government carte blanche and immunity in all areas regarding energy, executive orders removing barriers to American leadership and artificial intelligence. So granting immunity to anything that they would like to roll out that has to do with AI. Executive orders strengthening the U.S. leadership in digital financial technology. This advances stablecoin adoption while banning CBDCs. They labeled it, I mean, it was pitched to you and pimped out by conservative media as a ban on CBDC. But what it did was pave the way for private banking digital currencies, which will be even less scrutinized and controllable by we the people as that power falls into fewer and fewer hands, private hands instead of government hands, which makes it very difficult for us to track. It's just awful. This is a must-read report. I feature it every so often, and it plays directly into what we're seeing with the pushing of the SAVE Act. So we're going to be discussing that with Tom Renz, also the state of medical freedom. There is so much chaos out there, economic chaos, geopolitical chaos. In every sense, there is absolute chaos in this country. And all of these headlines, one after another, are essentially taking the basic concept in the platform of medical freedom off the table. We're not even talking about medical freedom. We're not talking about the mRNA shots, which are still on the market. We're not talking about the rollout of hundreds of new mRNA technologies that are being fast-tracked by this administration for every ailment imaginable. We're not talking about Bobby Kennedy Jr. and the HHS initiative to have every American on a wearable device, which will track and trace their biometrics, what's happening in your bodies, to be stored on some massive database or in some massive database and of course used against you at some point in the future. So this is all happening here in the US, but then they're exporting the chaos to outside of the US. And essentially the world is just saying, oh, hell no. And it began, Peter Schiff is also linked his analysis, a full hour show, which is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Absolute chaos in the markets yesterday. Absolute chaos. US treasuries are down. US bonds are down. US stocks are down. Bitcoin is down. Crypto is down. Bitcoin is down 30%. Some cryptos are down 80 or 90%. It's imploding, which is tragic, by the way, because Donald Trump, with his Trump meme coin and his Melania meme coin and all their investments into Bitcoin and crypto, which we warned you about here on the Shannon Joy Show a year ago. We warned you, people who listened to the analysis and listened to the advice of people like Catherine Austin Fitts and Peter Schiff and Ed Dowd and other economic analysts that we brought in on this venue to warn you guys about crypto and the pump and dump. They're being absolutely devastated. It's a bloodbath. And it was a pump and dump. You saw the headlines just a couple days ago. It's now established. Donald Trump and Trump Inc., they have doubled their net worth since 2025. They have gone from, there are a variety of estimates, but their net worth more than doubled in 2025, 12 months into this presidency, from about 3.9 billion to about 7.3 billion by the year's end. And this surge was due primarily by the performance of his social media and technology companies, and also substantial gains from cryptocurrency ventures launched during his second term in the first months of his second term that were full-scale pump and dumps. People who believed in Trump gave him their money. They exchanged their dollars for meme coins, crypto, Bitcoins, tokens, Melania coins, you name it. It was heavily pumped by Trump using the office of the presidency and then dumped. He's walking away with the cash, which they're probably now going to invest in gold or real estate or something that is physical. And the crypto market is just crashing, absolutely crashing. I mean, here are just some of the headlines. Here are some of the headlines that we have from yesterday. The Danish pension fund. The world is reacting to this. The world is reacting to this. We here in the United States of America had the gift of being the world's reserve currency for the better part of 70 years. And we have not been good stewards of that privilege. And the world granted that to us in exchange for what they thought was a strong American military that would pursue truth and justice, freedom and democracy across the world. And we have proven to the world over the past 70 years, but it has ramped up in the past 20 years, and it is accelerated to an untenable point today that we're not helping anyone. In fact, our own government is printing trillions and trillions of dollars. Our own government has stolen $55 trillion from its own taxpayers since 1998, according to the analysis put out by Catherine Austin Fitts and her team over at Solari. This US government has waged war, color revolutions. They've deposed leaders. They have manipulated other countries into using our dollars, our petrodollars. And we have cheated. And the world is now waking up to it. In fact, they've been waking up to it for the past 20 years and aligning with each other outside of the US. We might, at this point, have the strongest military on the face of the planet, but our economy is crumbling. It's crumbling. And the rhetoric of Howard Lutnick yesterday at WEF and the rhetoric of Donald Trump today at WEF, that we are going full-scale gangster, might makes right. We don't care what you say. We're taking it. We're taking Venezuela. We're taking Greenland. We're taking whatever we want, and there's nothing you can do about it. And we're going to cheat and lie. And the world is saying, you know what? Then we don't want your dollars. And they're dumping them. Danish pension fund to sell $100 million in US treasuries over fiscal worries. The Japan bond sell-off drives US treasury yields to multi-month highs. We have China now selling off US treasuries, investing heavily in gold and silver. If you guys listened to us a year ago, many of you are in gold and silver today. Those of you who have listened to Trump and Trump's sycophants and conservative media who have lied about what this man is doing along with his administration are suffering. And that doesn't give me any joy whatsoever to tell you today. US stocks yesterday lost 1.2 trillion amid Greenland tensions and a bond sell-off. It's essentially Trump coming in and saying, we're taking Greenland. And this is having the impact of uniting the world against us, amazingly, tragically, behind China and Russia. They have problems of their own. And this is not to say that the world or the globalists are going to do anything any better, but this is going to translate into horrifying situations here in the United States of America. If you thought inflation was bad, just wait. Horrifying. The S&P 500 plunged 2.1%, its worst day since October 25, while the NASDAQ dropped on heavy tech losses. We have told you, Jack Gamble, JG Nuke, multiple shows on analysis of the tech bubble, the AI bubble, and these tech stocks, the circular trading and investing. We've had Tiffany Cianci on the show about private equity and private credit multiple times, explaining exactly how these bastards are defrauding you and your family, your 401k, your pension. And amazingly, there is still a segment of this population who is so invested, so bought into the cult of Donald Trump that they can't see it. It's tragic. Bitcoin drops below 88,000 amid tariff fears and liquidations. The cryptocurrency and cryptocurrencies in general absolutely tanked yesterday. And this is not getting better. I want to encourage you guys. I have linked you to Peter Schiff's full analysis in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Please click on that. Listen to that if you want to protect yourself. Until we wake up here in this country in a bipartisan way and understand that I'm picking on Trump today, but Biden was doing it during his administration and Obama was doing it during his administration. All of these things have been cumulative. As one decrepit, corrupt party passes the football to the next decrepit, corrupt party, and they work together to defraud and plunder the United States of America. I mean, what does Tom Massey have to say about all of this? Tom Massey is out there. Thank God for, I mean, we have a handful of truth tellers out there. Just a handful of truth tellers. Tom Massey is one of them. You know, Trump is now saying that, well, this is what he has to say. Peter Schiff tweeted this out yesterday. Trump has it backwards. The U.S. doesn't subsidize the world. The world subsidizes the U.S. This is what the world is waking up to. The dollar's reserve currency status allows us to live beyond our means and to cheat. Tom Massey said, as the dollar's reserve currency status diminishes, so does our ability to tax the world by creating more money. When reserve status is lost, maintaining current levels of spending and servicing the debt will be even more painful for Americans who will bear the full inflation tax. What we need to do is absolutely eviscerate the bloated, horrifying federal government and get back into a gold-backed currency. I mean, it's just such a mess. It's hard to even talk about solutions right now. The solution right now for you is to hunker down. You know, for me, this is what I'm doing. I'm in gold and silver. I'm in gold and silver mining stocks. I'm in international stocks. I'm in real estate. I'm holding on to cash and activating locally. This ship is going down. Okay, this ship is going down, and people need to pull their heads out of their rear ends and out of this two-party political nightmare, so that you can begin to batten down the hatches for your family. It's possible. Listen, it's painful, but there is enormous opportunity for freedom and liberty and clarity and awakening in the midst of chaos, but only if we are firmly outside of the two-party political paradigm. And so this is why when you come to the Shannon Joy Show every day, you are going to get the best analysts in the world. These are people who I can't stand talking to people, whether they're on the left or the right. I don't care if you're a liberal Democrat or conservative Republican. If you cannot conduct analysis on what is happening today without scrutinizing your own party and your own party leaders, I have nothing to say to you. I don't want you on my show. I'm not listening to your analysis. I'm not doing the scapegoating anymore. It's painful for me to watch what conservative thinkers are doing today and conservative analysts. They're talking about everything but the truth so that they don't have to admit that they were completely wrong about the Trojan horse who is Donald Trump, who was always, from the very beginning, a complete Trojan horse, a New York City liberal Democrat, and probably even worse than that, a full-on puppet for the world or for the new world order. Because personally, from my perspective, it looks like this madman is driving this country off a cliff and acting as crazy as humanly possible so as to hasten the demise and the destruction here in the United States of America, so that he and his cronies can plunder. They can take everything and get out. That's why he's making deals with foreign countries. That's why he's pumping and dumping on crypto. That's why he's aligning with the billionaire class at the expense of regular Americans, because they know and they don't care. They don't care. Tom Massey also had this to say: we are dealing also with a full-scale criminal enterprise. Annie, pull up. We're going to be bringing Tom Renz into the Joy Virtual Studio in just a minute. I don't see him yet. But Annie, pull up the video of Tom Massey, if you can, for me, on what's going on with, Venezuela, how he's going to pay for Venezuela, or I'm sorry, how he's going to pay for Greenland. All right. He's saying, he says the most insane things. But lately it is, we're going to buy Greenland using all of the profits that we're getting from plundering Venezuela. And we're going to store those profits in a foreign bank. So like a private slush fund for the government to purchase Greenland. It's insane. Annie, pull up what Tom Massey had to say about that.
Real quick, any update on the Epstein files?
Yeah, we responded to Judge Engelmeyer today with a letter, and that should be on the docket for you to see.
Okay, and your tweets obviously went super viral over the weekend about Greenland and so on. But did you hear from the White House at all about, or have you heard from the White House at all generally?
Well, first of all, what they're doing is not constitutional. They're trying to gaslight folks. They're saying, oh, this is Venezuela's money. Even though they've stolen the oil and they're selling it, they say they're caretaking Venezuela's money. So this isn't money that belongs in the U.S. Treasury, and it's not money that Congress can appropriate. But the reality is the president, when he speaks as if he's going to spend this money any way he pleases. And that would be a violation of the Constitution and our power to appropriate all money from the Treasury.
What do you make of him banking that money in Qatar as opposed to in the United States? Like, are American banks not good enough? Like, what's going on there?
Well, I think that was him hedging his bets. I think they were concerned that the courts would seize the money and that they would find what he's doing unconstitutional. And so the money that's here in the States, they may be caretaking for Venezuela, but I think if they try to spend money extra constitutionally outside of the constitutional appropriations clause, they'll use that pot of money they're keeping in Qatar.
Got it.
Astounding. Astounding. Full-scale criminal enterprise. Thomas Massey had this to tweet about that statement. Selling stolen oil and putting billions of dollars in a bank in Qatar to be spent without congressional approval is not constitutional. Again, as he said, only Congress can appropriate money. The president cannot create a second treasury overseas illegally, unconstitutionally in Qatar to serve his own personal piggy banks. This is insane. This is insane. And the sycophants, the Steve Bannons and the Jim Fergusons over saying that this was, this analysis from Jim Ferguson. Okay, there's a gaggle of paid influencers on Twitter that are obviously, I don't know that Jim Ferguson is paid, but they just lie so blatantly to their viewers. Steve Bannon lies. Oh my God. I can't, the ease with which they lie to their audiences. I would say 90% of conservative media, it's horrifying to me. And I'm a conservative. Believe me, it pains me. It pains me to have to tell you that the left and left-wing media right now on certain issues has the moral high ground. Certainly about the Epstein files, certainly about what's going on in Minnesota, certainly what's going on internationally, and with the criminal enterprise that this president is constructing to the applause of the conservative media. It's insane. He said, globalism just died in Davos. If you think that, you are insane. That was Jim Ferguson. Howard Lutnick just walked into the lion's den and told the World Economic Forum exactly what they didn't want to hear. Globalism has failed, and that's their message, right? It's all about America first. We hate the globalists. You failed, and now we're going to take everything. And the globe is saying to the U.S., screw you. We don't want your dollars. And this is why the United States stock market crashed yesterday and will continue to crash. This is why the dollar is crashing. This is why your 401k, your Roth IRA, your retirement, your pension, everything that you worked for, that you built your life towards is in jeopardy because of this rogue government, which built on the rogue government of Biden. I can't take people who cannot see this outside of their left-right paradigm are just, they're so uninteresting to me. What do you guys think about all of that? We're heating up today on the Shannon Joy Show. We're going to bring Tom Renz in just a minute, but I do want to talk to you guys about Rumble Wallet. If you're looking to offload your crypto or offload your Bitcoin, I'd be happy to take it. All right. And you can do that with Rumble wallet. I still think that there is a place someday at some time for cryptos and digital types of currency, of course, not centralized. And I'm not a huge fan of Bitcoin, but it's still there and people are still going to use it. And if you'd like to send it to me, you can do that through Rumble Wallet. So this is what we know. The powers that be can freeze your credit cards. They can cancel your accounts. They can use the IRS and weaponize it against you. Big banks, financial institutions, and even our own government have total control and they will use it. So this is why Rumble is introducing Rumble Wallet. It is a wallet built for freedom. You can buy digital assets like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. And with Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, and not a tech company. No permission, no middlemen, no cancel buttons. And when you want to support the creators like me that you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators. So I have set up my Rumble Wallet. And so if you'd like to tip me with Bitcoin, I'm here for it. Go ahead. I'll take your Bitcoin off your hands. But you can do that securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit card. They can't shut you off. It is your wallet permanently, and it supports the creators here at Rumble. This helps you protect your future, your family, and when the system fails and the institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet is not about politics. It is about freedom, ownership, and protecting what is yours. So you can take control today. Download that Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. We are going to go to a quick break, bring Tom Renz into the Joy Virtual Studio and launch that discussion. Medical freedom. Where is it? Where does it stand? Are we even talking about it anymore amidst all of the chaos? And what's going on with the SAVE Act? Is it a Trojan horse for mandatory nationwide digital ID, a critical component of the digital control grid and the techno-fascist police surveillance state that appears to be being built by Trump and his administration in the United States of America. We'll talk about that and more with Tom Renz, and we're bringing Dr. Mary Talley Bowden in just about 20 minutes as well. Big show here on the Shannon Joy Show. Keep it tuned right here. I am so proud to be working with Peter Schiff and Schiff Gold in 2026. There is no one that I would trust more to send this audience to in terms of a metals strategy, whether it's your gold and silver physically that you purchase and keep in your home or in a safety deposit box, gold and silver in an IRA, which you can do through Schiff Gold, or even investing in gold mining stocks, which Peter Schiff and his team can also help you with. It is time to get that metals strategy in place. Right now, silver and gold are soaring. Silver is approaching $85 an ounce, while gold is up over $45 an ounce. And people don't see this stopping anytime soon. I know it seems expensive to you, but I don't know that there is a cap to this in the near future. So you can get started now. I want to encourage you guys right now to go to schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy. Everything that you need, Peter's analysis, market reports, research reports. You can get plugged into his investment services, physical gold and silver, which we're going to be talking about this month, and also protecting your retirement with a gold or silver IRA. It's all right there at your fingertips on my page, schiffgold.com/joy. Hey everyone, I just want to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Dom Polano over at PCM and Associates. Dom Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Dom Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Don Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to pcmpolano.com. That is pcmpolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Don Polano at PCM and Associates. And I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. I can't tell you how many Americans are now not trusting their food supply and our United States healthcare food system, because as you know, there are so many toxins that are being deployed through our food supply. And this is why so many Americans are now eating like their health depends on it. And that's because most disease does not start in your genes. It actually starts in your kitchen and in your gut. Our food supply has been hijacked. That's just the truth. From Roundup poison to mRNA animal injections, Big Ag and Big Pharma have strategically synced up to get people stuck on a subliminal medical loop. And the wellness company, they're no longer accepting a system where the health industry ignores food and the food industry ignores health. They have to work together. Meet Wellness Farms, a new way to fuel your body from a trusted brand who puts people before profits. So here we go. Hand-selected USA small farmed beef boxes, where the beef goes from a pasture to a butcher, flash frozen, and then right to your door. Think old school meets modernized convenience from the wellness company. It is the purest. So mRNA and vaccine free, grass-fed, grass-finished cattle raised on regenerative American farms, which is amazing. And these are family farms. And the animals are cared for in a way that restores the soil, protects ecosystems, and produces nutrient-dense meat how nature intended. Each box is unique, and it has unique cuts broken down by mineral and gut health focuses. No antibiotics, no hormones, just clean, honest, regeneratively raised food. We are thankful for, we do got the meats. We're so thankful for the wellness company and their support. Make sure that you always use the promo code MARY for any of your other purchases. But for today, make sure that you use Mary Farms to get $85 off your first beef box. I can't wait to try mine. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. We are trying to get the Tom Renz into the Joy virtual studio, having just a touch of technical difficulty. But as soon as he gets in, we'll have him up. As you know, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden will be joining me live in the Joy virtual studio at the top of the hour. Today, she is interviewing Del Bigtree. Should be quite interesting. My question for both of them, Tom Renz and Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, what has happened to the medical freedom movement? What has happened to medical freedom in general? What is the state of medical freedom? And it seems to me that amidst all of the chaos, so much has happened in the past 12 months, but basically nothing when it comes to medical freedom, expanding medical freedom, taking apart the apparatus that destroyed our freedom in 2020, 21, and 22, taking the mRNA shots off of the market. I mean, all of the things, there was a laundry list, 24 things that this president, that this administration, that Bobby Kennedy Jr. could have done to expand and protect medical freedom and take those poison shots off the market. Yet we're not even talking about it. We're not even discussing it because it is chaos as far as the eye can see. So this is what I hope to talk with Tom Renz about, and also Dr. Mary Talley Bowden in the next 40 minutes or so. Dr. Bowden goes live. Her show, On Call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, starts right at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the SJ Network and all of her platforms. So we have a lot to talk about. We're not talking about medical freedom, Tom Renz, but we are talking about the SAVE Act and digital IDs and expanding the SAVE Act. I see, Tom, it looks like your microphone is muted. If you could just unmute that quickly, and we'll bring you right on. There you go. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. You've been someone that I've been wanting to talk to for so long. I've so appreciated so much of your work. You came out as a medical freedom warrior in the dark days of COVID lockdowns, and you haven't stopped since. Tom Renz, welcome to the SJ Show. Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Shannon. And listen, your work has been great. I'm grateful to Mary for introducing us, and I'm thrilled to be here. So thank you.
Absolutely. You guys can support Tom. His website is tomrenz.com. That is tomrenz.com. You can follow him on Twitter. His handle is @RenzTom. He is an attorney, and as I mentioned, a medical freedom warrior. You have been in the thick of it, Tom, since 2020, one of the first voices out there. Your work I used exhaustively on the Shannon Joy Show in those dark days, even though we didn't know each other at the time. And I've followed you ever since. You have been one of the very few voices out there willing to critique and criticize this administration, the Republican Party, the medical freedom movement as it's being run, under Bobby Kennedy Jr. and also Donald Trump. And that earns for me anyone willing to critique their own side of the aisle is someone that I want to talk to. And this is why I think that your analysis and your input is going to be so important moving forward in 2026. So tell me how you're feeling today about the state of medical freedom in the United States of America, 12 months after the election of Trump and the appointment of Bobby Kennedy Jr. at HHS.
A little bit disappointed on a lot of levels. Here's the thing. We knew that this was going to be an astronomical move. To get to true medical freedom was really going to be a tough thing. And we all know where Bobby stands, but the question is, so Bobby's been out there for decades talking about this stuff. One of the things that's interesting to me that I look at it is, you got a guy who was, fighting through the mRNA, fighting for the COVID stuff, fighting against jets, fighting against all these things. He comes in, and it's quite obvious that the MAHA base and the absolute litmus test for MAHA is mRNA. If you like mRNA, you're not MAHA. That's just that simple.
Right.
And so, Bobby comes in, and instead of the first thing he does is taking the mRNA off the shelf, we start out talking about things like food dyes. Well, food dyes are important, right? But it doesn't even come close to the devastation and the chaos, not to mention the multi-trillion-dollar global fraud that was mRNA COVID jabs. So I look at this, I say, well, what's going on here? And listen, Bobby obviously stands where he stands on things. And I support Bobby, and I actually support Trump. But we have to be critical of what's occurring here because it isn't getting done. It's still on here. And so what I really keep pushing, one of the things I'm harping on, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to say this, the reason I am harping on people like Bondi and Susie Wiles and some of these other people is because of my faith in the medical freedom, my goal. I insist we have to have medical freedom, bodily autonomy, and accountability, particularly for COVID. We need Nuremberg trials for that. We can't do it when people have Bobby's hands, chained behind his back. And that's what I think is happening here. You've got, as the chief of staff in the White House, a woman who is a lobbyist, a managing partner at a lobbying firm that represented Pfizer, that represented Gavi, that represented Gilead, represented numerous bad actors. And suddenly Bobby Kennedy gets a job as HHS secretary, and he's not able to pull the mRNA off the shelves. He's not able to hire the people that he wants to hire. Now, part of that's Congress for sure. Part of it's pharma stranglehold. Part of it's corruption in HHS. But there's a reality that is, this was a foundational thing for Bobby Kennedy. So why isn't he doing it? The only thing that makes any sense to me, the only thing that makes any reasonable sense is that his hands are tied from the top down within the administration. Donald Trump said he was going to empower Bobby Kennedy to do this, to look into things, to follow true science. Well, I'm sorry, you and I and Mary and Bobby himself And many of us, we reported the true science during COVID. It's already there. The evidence is there. The evidence is black and white. It's in your face. It is indisputable. The COVID jabs are causing turbo cancer. The COVID jabs are causing long-term autoimmune dysfunction. The COVID jabs are causing the heart issues. I mean, we didn't have we didn't have to have defibrillators on the sidelines of a soccer game for 8-year-olds when I was growing up. What's changed? So
Right.
this is indisputable, and the interference from this administration and from the crooks, the lobbyists that are running the things, needs to be exposed and called out.
We're talking to Tom Renz. You can follow him on Twitter. His handle is @RenzTom. One of my frustrations, Tom, with some of that analysis, and this has been echoed by many others, it seems to me sometimes there is a knee-jerk desire to blame the people around Bobby or the people around Trump, right? It's Susie Wiles' fault. It's Stephanie Spears' fault. It's Pam Bondi's fault. And from my perspective, and I'm very curious how you feel about this. I mean, when I look at this administration, the buck stops with Donald Trump. I mean, he is the boss. And people like Steve Bannon and, some of the big talkers out there will talk about him as this all powerful, bull in a china shop. He's going gangster on the World Economic Forum, and he's the biggest, toughest, baddest guy in the world. Yet he's being led around by the nose by Susie Wiles. I mean, don't they work at the pleasure of Donald Trump? Doesn't he hire Susie Wiles? Don't they hire Stephanie Spear and Pam Bondi? What is your thought about? I mean, when do we go past the gatekeepers and we go straight to the guy and say, this is your responsibility. You made these promises to Maha. You made these promises to MAGA in terms of the Epstein files and a host of other things. When does the buck stop with Trump?
Well, let me answer very, very directly. It should already stop. It already does stop there, right? So this is Trump's responsibility. And the actions of his generals reflect on him for sure. And we're going to see that in midterms, right? I mean, the Maha-MAGA alliance is in bad shape. The MAGA base is mad for a million reasons. You mentioned the SAVE Act and Real ID. Well, we have universal digital ID in this country. There's so many things happening. We're moving towards CBDCs, but they won't be CBDCs. They'll be done through a public-private partnership. That legislation is also moving. There's so many bad, critical things, and the people who are awake know it. And those of us, the 20 or so % of Americans that absolutely stood against these COVID jabs and never got one, and those of us that, the millions others who got one and realized how bad it was and have a buyer's remorse, these are people who are awake. They're not going to forget this.
Right.
So the buck does stop there. But here's why I'm doing this. And I'm going to share my super secret sauce here. And I don't think I've actually said this publicly. Here's the deal. Right now, we have President Donald Trump, and we have Secretary of Health and Human Services, Bobby Kennedy. We know that there are people around them that have served in positions that are more than a little question. I mean, for God's sakes, our AG worked as an attorney for Pfizer. I mean, that should have been disqualifying.
The people surrounding Trump are Scott Bessent, like a longtime associate with George Soros. I mean, attached at the hip for 2 decades. He's the guy who helped Soros collapse the British pound. Okay, this is Trump's guy in the treasury. I mean, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but yeah, to your point, like completely surrounded by our enemies.
Right. So here's what I'm doing. Here's my analysis and my super secret strategy. We're gonna try and peel back some of the people who we can demonstrate and prove are bad. Yeah. Right. At that point, if we're able to create political accountability for the people who are evil and that we can show are evil, right? Like I have hard evidence, right? I can make an argument to you, and I'm going to do this. And you and I agree that at the end of the day, the buck stops with Trump and at HHS with Kennedy. But I'm going to make this argument to you, right? So you're Donald Trump. The person that's controlled your calendar for several years now is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles makes sure that everyone who gives you the briefing on any given issue are the people who are going to brief it the way that she wants it briefed, right? So the president isn't McCullough. And, I offered a few years back, I literally offered and made a public offer. I said, I will personally pay to bring myself and McCullough and some of these other genius scientists out there that can speak on. At this point, I'd bring Mary, but
Right.
I officially, when I first made this offer, it was before I actually knew Mary, but I said, I'll pay to fly them to Florida to brief then former president. This was during the period between his presidencies, to brief for the president on COVID and COVID related issues. I know a number of other people had created that, and I can tell you for a fact that I know there were a number of times where there were scheduled opportunities where the certain scientists were going to be given the opportunity to go down and brief Trump on the truth about the COVID jabs. So they kept getting canceled. Those meetings kept getting canceled, right? Now, who controlled that? Well, that was Wiles. Wiles is the gatekeeper. Everybody knows that. It's a well-known fact in Washington. And so Trump gets half a picture. Now, I can give you more evidence on this. There were two major events that occurred that provide the clearest evidence of this ever. One was when Ukraine tried to assassinate Putin with drones. President Trump was asked by the media about it, after this event, and Trump said, "Well, I don't know anything about it. I hadn't heard anything." This is a World War III level event, and the president of the United States wasn't briefed immediately on it.
Mm-hmm.
The second instance was also around Ukraine when Ukraine had the drone strike on the Russian nuclear fleet. That could have provoked nuclear response. It could have provoked a nuclear response. And Trump again was asked about it, and he said, "Well, I don't know. I haven't heard about this."
Right.
So Trump's not getting. We know, we can show with them evidence that Trump's not getting a full picture. So my strategy is this: let's get rid of the bad guys that we know are bad guys. And then at that point, if the president's still there, then we'll go after him. Because at that point, if the president himself, if after being fully and properly briefed is still on the wrong side of this, then we go after it.
But Tom, if the president wants them there, I mean, we know that Susie Wiles is there on purpose to keep the president from culpability. She's there purposefully to keep him from getting the information, to keep us waiting. And this is what I worry about. Are we wasting time? We've already wasted 12 months. We've gotten nothing, bubkiss, squat. And things are getting worse. You saw the stock market yesterday. The chaos is only ramping up. The world is turning against the US. They're dumping our dollar. And all of our issues, our medical freedom issues, our privacy issues, our freedom in general issues are off the table because Trump is now declaring war on the world, on Greenland, on Venezuela, on Minnesota, on we the people, through the digital ID, through every apparatus possible. And I'm worried that as we wait to get rid of Susie Wiles, or get rid of Stephanie Spear or Pam Bondi and go through that. Believe me, I sat through 4 years of Trump administration 1, where every single time he betrayed us, it was, well, he's getting bad advice. Well, his advisors are screwing him. Well, he doesn't know how to deal with the deep state. In fact, everything that happened to us during COVID was because people made excuses for the president regarding Fauci and Birx and the information that he was getting. Right. So this all just seems too convenient to me. I'm sorry. We have Mary Telly Bowden joining us in just a minute, too. I'd love to kind of have a freestanding conversation on this. I'm getting sick of it. When do you stop? Come on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. And here's the thing, though. We have got to keep asking the question in the way that I'm asking it, because there's a lot of people who... Listen, there are millions
They're still in
of
the cult.
us.
I know.
There are millions of us who literally gave everything to try and get this man back in to try and help things, right?
Why?
So, well, listen,
Why?
why? I don't know. Well, because we didn't have another option. Honestly.
He was the guy who did it to us. I know, but this is what frustrated me.
Oh, listen, I was there. When he locked us down, when his administration locked us down, I was suing everybody. I mean, and we locked down under the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Okay. We locked down. The election was stolen during the Trump administration. Okay. This was a Trump administration deep state thing. Now, does anybody on the planet believe that Donald Trump wanted the 2020 election stolen from him? No. but he had a bunch of crooks around him. What's inconceivable to me is that Donald Trump himself has not figured out that, hey, the whole COVID thing, including the mRNA corruption, was done in part to steal the election from you. I mean, this
But here's the other
multi-trillion
thing,
dollar
Tom,
wall.
though. But here's the other thing. He was the one who sent the ballots, the mail-in ballots. Like he did this to himself. And if there was
Uh,
fraud, I get it, there was fraud. But to me,
that's my
he's not
point.
that dumb. I see you think he's dumb. I think he's cunning. That's the
Well,
difference between you and me, is that I think he knows exactly what he's doing. And I feel like at some point we need to rip the Band-Aid off and see this person for who he is. I want to hear more from you. We have to go to break. We're
yeah,
going to bring, Mary Bowden in, and I'll give this over to you guys. We can have a discussion about it because I think this is a critical discussion. I've been reporting on from a conservative, constitutional, Christian liberty perspective, Donald Trump and his administration since 2015, Tom. I have
wow.
been with him since he came down the escalator. I have looked at every piece of legislation that he has passed. I've looked at every initiative. I've looked at what he's promised, what he has achieved, what he hasn't achieved, the betrayals, and I weep for the people who continue to put their lives, their future, their hope, everything in the hands of this person who just rips the rug out from underneath them every time, time and time
Yeah,
again. And,
it's
you know,
it's sad.
it's sad. I want to get your full response to that. We're going to take a quick break, and then I'm gonna hand it over to you for a while to get your thoughts, and then we'll bring Mary in and get her thoughts as well because things just do not seem to be going in the right direction from my
No,
perspective.
they're not.
All right, we'll be back in a moment to continue this critical discussion. What do you guys think about the discussion? What do you think about, this topic, this issue? Please comment on Twitter or on Substack, on the live chat, on Rumble. Want to hear from you. We're going to be back in a moment with Dr. Mary Kelly Bowden joining myself and Tom Renz in just a minute here on the Shannon Joy Show. At 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear and protect yourself from the surveillance state, they have an entire line of amazing Faraday products called dark bags. They're always 10% off at the satellite phone store if you go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. The satellite phone store has supported the Shannon Joy Show for many years. They are amazing partners, and let's help the companies that help keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are in the market for any of their products or services, make sure you use that promo code JOY and go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. I see you, CJP Rumble, on the live chat. Shannon must have listened to Daniel Horowitz last night because I was about ready to blow my top as well after listening. CJP Rumble, I didn't listen to Daniel Horowitz yesterday, but I will tell you, Daniel and I, we're on a thread. We are usually jiving off of one another, even if we are not listening to each other. We're going to have to get him into the Joy Virtual Studio again in the next couple weeks. But today we are joined with, for the very first time, Tom Renz, who is an amazing medical freedom warrior. And I know your heart, Tom. I know you have worked tirelessly for the truth. You have helped so many people in the medical freedom community, and I really appreciate you being here for this discussion and a real, I think, come to Jesus moment for the movement about like where are we going with this. And I'm glad to have Dr. Mary Kelly Bowden join us also in the Joy Virtual Studio, another absolutely critical medical freedom warrior, two people in the dark days in 2020, before a lot of the names that you see today as medical freedom warriors were out there. You had Tom Renz and Dr. Mary Kelly Bowden. I'd like to go back to you, Tom, and then Mary, you caught a snippet of our conversation about the state of medical freedom today and where we're going with this administration, with HHS and Bobby Kennedy. And Tom and I were kind of going back and forth. I'm frustrated, to say the least, with the lack of action. And I'd love to hear your reaction, Tom, on that, because as I mentioned, I think we're going in the wrong direction.
Well, we are for sure. I mean, we're not winning right now, And let me create a distinction, because one of the things I thought about during the break is something that I really want you guys to understand. So Mary will appreciate this. I talk to the scientists, and the scientists will tell me, well, yeah, I don't have a peer-reviewed study to back that up. I say, well, I've got 50 pieces of evidence. I don't care about the peer-reviewed study. And they'll say, well, yeah, but we got to go through the discipline that we have to go through as a scientist. Okay, so I'm going to pull my lawyer card here for a second. So I have been, from the very beginning of this, very, very disciplined about evidence. Okay. And the reason that I have been accurate pretty much, I mean, pretty close to 100% of the time. I mean, we talked about the cancer and the jabs in 2021, 2022. We talked about the long-term effects that early. We knew what was happening early, but it wasn't because I'm a scientist. I mean, God knows Mary's probably 3 times smarter than I'll ever be. But here's the thing. I have evidence and I follow the evidence. And so when I make statements about things, I usually start from there. So let me tell you what I'm doing with this. I am incredibly disappointed in this administration. The complete and epic failure to have any accountability for anything is mind-blowing. The wishy-washy garbage is abhorrent. But when we talk about assigning blame, as a lawyer, we always say it's better that 1,000 guilty men go free than one innocent man be imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, right? So we always try and start from that innocent till proven guilty, and that's where we're at. Now, common sense and the stuff that you're saying all point to exactly what you're concluding. The common sense points to, listen, we need to call out Bobby and Trump and be a little more, but the evidence, there's gaps, right? So I'm sticking with the evidence. And the thing about that is I've got this kind of weird spot. On one side, everybody knows I'm not going to lie and I'm not going to make up stories. And if the evidence, if I can prove that, Donald Trump is, pro mRNA and it's not because of a lack of knowledge, but it's because he's actually willfully blind or doing some of these things. And I know Mary's going to probably throw something at me, say, yeah, how could he not be? But, and Shannon, you too as well. When I get to the point where I feel that I can prove that from an evidentiary standpoint, I'm going to go wherever I got to go with it, because I'm not sacrificing my principles. I will not.
I know
right now, I think that there's enough. If this were a criminal trial and I were representing Donald Trump, I would point to the exculpatory evidence, say, listen, he is running the world's largest entity, the U.S. government, right? Trillions of dollars. It literally is the most powerful entity on the planet. He has, 15 minutes for a briefing, and then he's got to make a decision. His work ethic is legendary. Everybody knows that he works hard, right? But he has foreign policy. He has, all these different countries he's going to do, domestic policy, all these different things. And when you get to that point, and I think about, people like Mary and I and how busy we are. And I mean, I can speak for myself. I work 16 to 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm on the road right now doing work and doing this and doing that. And, I'm still doing interviews, still doing meetings while I'm doing meetings on the road. I mean, it's crazy. Now, I think how busy you must be there and how easy it would be for someone who controls your schedule, controls who's got access to manipulate a situation. Because that exists, I'm still giving the benefit of the doubt, even though I should. Now, I will not give the benefit of the doubt on the fact that the actions, there is no action, right? So Pam Bondi should be fired immediately.
She won't,
Bobby
though.
needs to, no, she won't. Wiles appointed her, right? Wiles, her buddy from Ballard Partners, appointed her.
Yeah.
Wiles, who ran Mercury LLC that represented Pfizer, made sure that Pfizer's attorney got the AG position. By the way, Pam Bondi, sailed through, her hearings and we got through no problem, while Matt Gaetz got excoriated. Look at the difference, and you can tell who they hate because of what they do, right? So,
well, let's wrap up your position. Let's hear what Mary has to say. But so in general, he's busy. He's got a lot on his plate.
It's weak, but it's exculpatory.
Okay.
I'm waiting, and I'm right about to turn the corner on this with you guys, right? I'm close, but I'm still giving a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But I'm very, very open to say I'm not okay at all with what's happening on any of a million different things,
it's fair.
Health freedom.
That's fair, Tom. Mary, what are your thoughts?
Well, Tom, do you think that Trump wants his grandchildren to get the shots?
I should hope not. I would pray that he doesn't, but I mean, I
So,
guess I don't know.
well, if he's
That's
a
that's
true believer and he's blameless because he's a true believer, then he should be pushing these shots on his grandchildren.
yes, he
And
should.
I think that's sort of the litmus test. And that's what I keep calling out all these politicians is that they're not getting these shots. And, they would be horrified to give them to their children if they stay quiet. And what if they're not safe enough for these politicians and they're not safe enough for their children? Why are they safe enough for anyone else? I personally do not think the shots will be pulled off the market as long as Trump is in office, though. I just
I'm
think that
afraid that you're right.
I just don't see, and unfortunately, I don't think Kennedy is strong enough. I think he's protecting his position. He has the power to take action, but he knows that if he does that, he will get fired, and
Yep.
he has higher priorities, and that's what's stopping him. Sadly, 5.5 million children have gotten the latest version of the COVID shot. So since Trump took office, 5.5 million children. I mean, I have nightmares about my kid, waking up and my kid got the shot without me knowing. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, I still see injured patients in my office on a daily basis. I mean, yesterday there was a announcement that they were pulling a vaccine off the market because of one death, right? So I just think that there's just no way around this. South Carolina had a hearing yesterday to ban mRNA, and they danced around it, they discussed it, and then they adjourned without a vote because it's just untouchable. It's very sad, but I guess all we can do is just continue to educate the public and just hope that people are getting the message.
Well, let me back up your position further. I mean, because I agree with you. This is unforgivable, right? Millions of people have been killed from this. It's indisputable. We know it's continuing to cause these problems. But at the end of the day, we're protecting the fraud. In fact, we're investing into more fraud. We're still developing mRNA and related technologies. And now we have, there's already evidence that the mRNA as it stands could be, sexually transmitted and some of these other things. But now we have saRNA coming out, which is literally going to be contagious. It will act as an STD. It will act as a contagion. It will spread. People will get it. It's already out for pets. God knows what that's going to do to people. They aren't studying it. Bobby knows that that this is an issue. There's no question about that. Trump, I don't know whether he knows or not, but it's a disaster. One of the most dangerous technologies on the planet. And we're continuing to push it. This is an unforgivable action. Now, let me throw this back at you because I'm talking on both sides of my mouth, and I'm guessing most of the viewers want to throw something at me.
No. This is good discussion. No, this is good.
Well, here's the deal. Donald Trump just got one of those absurd COVID jabs. He just got one. I mean, so does he know? Where's he at? Does he still believe that, oh, well, there's certain instances where it should be good, so maybe we shouldn't pull it up? I think that, honestly, the man believes, and this is important. This is the reason it's important is because we don't have a person with authority or the capacity or the political clout to pull this off the market if Trump can't do it. So I don't think that unless we can recruit Trump to our side, which I don't know if we can, I agree with you. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know how else we're going to get it off the market. So Tom, go ahead.
Can I push back there? I mean,
Please.
there are two things because I think that was one of the critical mistakes that the medical freedom community made when Bobby Kennedy Jr. joined the Trump campaign in 2024. And I was yelling from the rooftops in the same way I was yelling from the rooftops in the spring of 2024 when Trump brought Susie Wiles into his campaign to be his chief of staff. We knew who she was. He knew who she was. And what I said to the medical freedom community at that time was, we need every bit of our attention and our energy and our resources and our money and our political clout to be activated from the bottom up at the state level through peaceful noncompliance full non-compliance, state legislation, local legislation, and education. That's where all of our resources needed to go. And I said to Bobby Kennedy, don't join this campaign because here's the problem. What you're saying is that either Trump is a villain of epic proportion. He knows exactly what he's doing and he doesn't care. Or he is too feeble-minded and weak and stupid to figure out what millions of us have figured out. We're just as busy as him. We have just as much. He had 2 years. He was doing nothing between the years of 2021 and 2023, where he decided to ramp up his campaign again. You don't think he had the capacity in his brain to figure this stuff out in that time? So I don't buy that. And even if I did, neither of those excuses are okay when children are dying and millions of them are being injected. See, this is my issue. I don't care if he knows or doesn't know, or cares or doesn't care, right? This is about our people and our country, not him and protecting him or supporting him or making excuses for him.
You know why I'm smiling?
Why?
Because what you said is exactly what I wanted you to say. I've been hoping that people will understand that we're getting to the point now where one of two things has to be true. Either he's ignorant, which is unforgivable, or he's corrupt. I don't know which, but we need to address it. And what's happening right now is Donald Trump, whether he realizes it or not, and this is an appeal to his ego, this really is. Mr. President, with respect, either your staff is making you look like an absolute idiot, or they're making you look like you're evil. That's what's happening right now. And what's going to occur next, and I want to be very clear on this, is the midterms. Yeah. Midterms are coming. And I can tell you, if Cassidy is the Republican guy in Louisiana, I'm going to campaign against him as hard as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. If we have rhinos who are pushing these jabs, I'm going to campaign against them, because I will not support someone who is supporting killing our children because they're corrupt and owned by Big Pharma. So here's the deal. We're coming to a point where I don't have to do anything to make it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because in midterms, after the midterms, if Donald Trump can't get some people arrested, if he can't get some accountability, and I know we're not talking about this, but if he can't get the elections fixed, if his crooked DOJ, Pam, Pfizer, Bondi can't get something done, if they can't start doing something to get our base, our Maha Mega base, a little bit happier, he's going to lose midterms on a phenomenal scale. He's going to be impeached, and then he's going to have to deal with that. So at the end of the day, listen, I'm going to be very sad if that happens. I don't want that to happen. What I want is Donald Trump to do what we elected him for. I want him to bring accountability to the crooks. We fought. I fought. I campaigned. I run out on my own dime. I fought for Donald Trump to get here. Yeah. I want what I campaigned for. If Donald Trump can't find a way to start bringing some accountability to people because he's either too incompetent to fire his people and bring in new people, or he's just sold out on it, I don't care which one. Yeah. At the end of the day, what I am pushing for, and the distinction here, love Trump, want him to be successful. Love Kennedy, want him to be successful. But at the end of the day, people are dying, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not going to stand down on the issues. And you know what? He's going to have to deal with the consequences of actions, because at the end of the day, he's the boss.
That's right. Mary, your thoughts. I want to get you in with your thoughts on that. I appreciate you, Tom. Mary?
Well, yeah, the pandemic directly impacted every single American. It's a festering wound. It's not going away. And all this is going to do is destroy Trump's legacy. So it's going to catch up with him one way or another. So I urge his advisors to urge him to come clean. Let's get this all sorted out. Let's stop the carnage. Stop injecting children. 5.5 million children have been injected with modified mRNA products since he took office. It's a total crime. I'm willing to bet a large amount of money that his grandchildren are not getting these shots. But he's allowing other children to get these. And it needs to stop, save his legacy.
Yeah. Well, and what I worry about, Tom and Mary, is that we are accelerating so quickly into chaos with the expansion. I mean, it almost seems as if Trump is done with America. He wants the North American Union. He wants Greenland. He wants Venezuela. He wants Brazil. He wants to set up the new technate, the new super regions that he will rule over. He is engaging in criminal activity with taking funds from Venezuela, depositing them into banks in Qatar, and using that to as a slush fund for his own administration. He's presiding over economic plunder of our country, insider trading, and cooking the books. Catherine Austin Fitts with her report on the $55 trillion that is missing. $5 trillion of that happened after the going direct reset, which was put in place by Trump in the last months of his administration. That was $5 trillion injected into the markets. And so and he's also said, and his supporters have said that he should cancel the elections in 2026 and just take the presidency. And this is being supported by elements of MAGA and even Maha, because they want to give him more power. Mary, I'll go to you, and then Tom, I'd like you to finish it off. But I'm worried that all of these issues are going to be off the table because we're going to be dealing with full-scale economic and cultural collapse in the country. Mary?
I haven't gotten to that. I'm not there with you yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but
no, that's okay.
My radar is up now.
Yeah. Tom, your thoughts?
I mean, we're moving in the wrong direction on every level. I mean, like I said, so I look at the legislation to see where things are going and what's happening in the law. And the law is very clear. We're moving closer to an AI-driven society. Track and trace is there. I've got a post pinned to the top of my Twitter profile showing and laying out the law. We have digital ID in this country. It's there. It's already there, and it's going to be expanded. And the Real ID Act includes certain language, and it's a soft push, right? They're not mandating it directly. They're making it impossible to live without it. So you're all going to be, if you've got a star on your license right now, which is interesting that there's a star, but
a yellow star.
If you've got a Real ID, you're part of the digital track and trace system. And guess what? My license just expired, and I really don't have a choice. I travel all the time. I have to go to all these different places. I can't carry around my birth certificate and 8 forms.
You do. Passport. I have a passport.
Do you think that that's not tracked and traced?
I know, but it's not a digital ID. So
it's tied in the same thing. It's run through the State Department. State Department is ran by the CIA.
Yeah.
Trust me, it is. I'll lay that out for you guys too.
I'll have you on again. Yeah. I want to have you on again, definitely.
Yeah. But we're going the wrong direction across the board. And I've never left and will never leave where I started, which is the fight for accountability and freedom in the health space. The reason that I'm into all of these different things is because it all ties together. I was in DC a few weeks ago. The future of healthcare is being pushed to be AI driven. Dr. McCullough, Dr. Bowden, all of these wonderful people that I love and that I respect, they aren't going to have jobs because AI is going to replace them. And eventually, if you want insurance, your insurance is going to push you into AI driven healthcare. Well, guess who created the AI? Do you think the pharmaceuticals
Trump?
Aren't involved in that? You got Bill Gates and crew in this. This is all tying in. And so some of these issues that appear unrelated to healthcare that I'm spending a lot of time on I'm doing it because they're the future of health freedom. When we talk about digital ID and the way that it ties in with healthcare, I've got all that. I've got all the information. So what we're doing is I'm hitting this from a lot of direction. We've got to get to accountability, and all the things that you mentioned, every single one of them are tied together. In numerous ways. You just have to dig very deep in the law and the regulation to see how it works. But at the end of the day, what we've got to do is we've got to support real scientists, Mary, Peter, all these guys who are doing real work. And we've got to make sure that that they're focused on the action-oriented part of this. While we're undermining this law and fighting that regulation strategically, we have to keep listening to what they're saying, because at the end of the day, Mary keeps seeing kids die.
That's right.
We're still seeing families die. And that's what people can relate to. It's a little hard to follow some of the law on this because it's so complicated.
Well, and unfortunately, Tom, I think what's happening is that we're kind of lawless. So the
Mhm.
law goes out the window. While I appreciate, and it's important what you're doing, because we need to maintain that. I think we are in a stage of chaos and tumult and lawlessness. But we've got to go. Tom, thank you so much for being with us on the Shannon Joy Show. I want you to come on a lot this year. I think your voice is very important, and I really appreciate having this conversation with you today. Please support him, guys. TomRenz.com, TomRenz.com. His handle on Twitter is at RenzTom. Thank you, my friend, for being with us.
My honor. I can't wait to come back. I love you guys, and thank you all for your work.
All right, appreciate you. And Dr. Mary, speaking of Dr. Peter McCullough, on call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden is just about to start. And one of my faves, my all-time faves, Dr. Peter McCullough, is going to be joining with you today live on call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. And then we also, I believe you have Del Bigtree coming up as well. Big
Right.
lineup,
Yeah.
girl. That's
Gonna be fun.
star-studded. I love it. Really appreciate you. Any last words before I wrap up my show and we start yours?
Yeah, no, I mean, Tom is a truth teller, no
Yes.
filter. I love him. And we're going to continue the conversation about AI and medicine with Dr. McCullough in just a minute.
All right, very good. She is Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. And coming up in just a moment, on call with Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, featuring Dr. Peter McCullough to start live. And then, of course, Del Bigtree. So it's going to be a great show. It's going to be pushed out on all of the SJ networks and on Mary's networks as well. Can't wait to start that. Want to thank all of you today for being with me right here on the Shannon Joy Show. It's always a pleasure. Please support the show by giving us a like, a thumbs up, supporting our sponsors. Could not do it independently without all of you. So with that being said, we're going to close down the SJ show. Keep it tuned right here because we're going to start right up with Mary's show. Have a wonderful evening, and we will be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the SJ show.